Warning, this is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prescribe any disease, disability, or disorder you might have. Please do two things before putting any of the information in this video to use. As this is not medical advice, it is only pure information, and I'm never going to claim I'm a doctor or claim to prescribe anything, as I am not about I try to be as little about quackery as possible. 1. Consult your healthcare professional and make sure you get both their consent and willingness to work with you. If you don't, then never go any further past this warning. 2. For those who listen and acquire their healthcare professional's consent and willingness to work with you, get allergy and sensitivity tested for any and all of the foods, substances, supplements, or extracts I may refer to. If you don't heed these warnings, follow these two pieces of medical advice, I will not be responsible for any of your actions. You have been thoroughly warned, and you have been advised. Don't try this shit at home. Take care. On to the video. Hey, what's going on, guys? Vice Shrimp Colby Savage recording live. Takes a while to perfect this shit. Take a while to perfect this shit, but anyway, just looking around. Alright. Today I'm going to teach you how to make peppermint candy cane mocha. Believe it or not. How do you do it? Well, simple. Well, here are the ingredients. A few ounces of freshly prepared, hot, few ounces of freshly prepared, Greek-style coffee brewed espresso substitute. That's Greek-style coffee brewed with espresso roast coffee instead of the traditional medium roast method. Or add a little medium roast powder to finely powdered medium roast to it if you desire, to make a mixture. You get about a teaspoon of the double chocolate hot cocoa by Ghirardelli to get them flavonols, polyphenols, antioxidants from chocolate liquor. That's what unsweetened baking chocolate is, and that's actually added to this recipe. That's mellowed out by some Dutch alkali processed cocoa to remove some of the oxalate, and with a little bit of vanilla, real vanilla, and lecithin. And just a little sugar, not too terribly much. Now, I will warn you, this is a once in a while treat because there's a lot of sugar. But I'm going to teach you something else real soon. Okay, since get a whisk for your cup. Make sure it's hot. You don't dilute it, okay? What you get next, after getting a teaspoon of this stuff to put in the cup, once you get a teaspoon of this to stop it, folks, once you've gotten this started, once you've gotten this, the teaspoon of the Ghirardelli in here, you get a tablespoon and a half of candy cane hot cocoa. And once you've done this, you whisk that in real well. You whisk that in thoroughly, dissolve the candy cane pieces. And then this next step you take, grass-fed goat's milk, 6 ounces, grass-fed goat's milk. And you just put that in here. Slowly heat it or use 30-second blasts in a microwave. Space them out a few seconds apart. And just do 30-second blasts. And just, it smells beautiful. And while you're at it, add a splash of peppermint schnapps or homemade peppermint tincture with an extra dose of menthol. This smells so heavenly. I'll give it to you. Make sure it's heated, or if you like room temp like me, just get your goat's milk, shake it up. Recycled some Bertolli sauce jars. So, anyways, put that in there. And once you do all this, you whisk it generously. Make sure it's all worked in good, and you add, like I said, just a splash of peppermint tincture or peppermint schnapps. And what you do, but anyways, once you've done all this, there is your finished mocha. Now you can do the same thing with Mexicocoa, or Mexicocoa mocha is what it's called. Oh, so good. Now what you're going to do, folks, the only difference is you do brew your espresso substitute, brew half of it with a little bit of allspice and chipotle and cayenne infused into it for a peppery kick. And what you do is you use a teaspoon of this and however many tablespoons of a can of Mexicocoa mocha. I'm sorry, hot chocolate, Mexicocoa hot chocolate. Somehow, some pronounce it that way. I say Mexicocoa hot chocolate or Mexicocoa hot chocolate. But either way, you get however many per serving of that, a few ounces of the chili and allspice infused coffee, a few ounces of that, 6 ounces of the grass-fed goat's, camel, or milk, or sheep's milk, whichever you prefer. The rest of and a teaspoon of this, and however many tablespoons, teaspoons, or whatever of the Mexicocoa hot chocolate in here, and stir in. And that is your recipe for Mexicocoa or Mexicocoa mocha. And you're following the traditional ratios of coffee and milk, and you're adding the chocolate to it. You can grate yourself a little bit of dark chocolate, sweetened dark chocolate in there, sugar-free, whatever, and do to it when it's to melt in there before doing these. Adds a little, just a hint of extra richness, chocolatey richness. Don't do too much. But that's the idea, folks. And you see, it still follows the traditional cafe mocha method, just a little altered, not much. Not very much though. And it's just a delicious recipe for anyone to enjoy on the holidays or whenever, any time of the year, and you get a little extra kick of polyphenols. Put some lactase in your goat milk to make a A2KC milk if you want to make a A2KC and substitute for lactate for those who want to avoid A2-casein for any reason in particular, such as the beta-casomorph 7 that's formed in your gut when you break A1 beta-casein down. Well, actually, that's what they think. It's not, our intestinal tract's not consistent because probiotic bacteria that releases it, the same fermentations to make yogurt, kefir, cheese, whatever, also destroys it. Which is, the data is conflicting, but if you're worried about it, goat's milk, sheep's milk, A2-casein, genetic lineage of cow milk, camel milk will work fine for this recipe. Support desert farms. And I'm also introducing you to a little more of a simpler way of life. Hell, you can use your own homemade hot cocoa mix with candy cane bits in it if you want to make it. Use Alton Brown's homemade hot cocoa recipe. Grate you some unsweetened baking chocolate by Baker's brand and some Ghirardelli dark chocolate directly into it. And crush a bunch of peppermint candy cane pieces and stir into it. Once you've done this, you've essentially made your substitute, and as you sweeten it whatever you want, like dehydrated raw honey. If you get the granules, there's a couple brands that sell it in the world, and they need to break that over here in the U.S. You want to grate some Chipotle jaggery, Palmyra palm, in other words, or toddy palm is another way of saying that type of palm tree jaggery. You can sweeten it with these methods, or you can use stevia sweetener like I do, pure with stings like this, and you can just reduce sugar content in general even more. Then make it delectable for you. Make it taste good for you and your friends if you got diabetes or you just want to dodge as much sugar as possible. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed all the different alterations I taught you all. But yeah, it's got some peppermint to it. It helps you gives you some more of the flavonoids and polyphenols of chocolate. It gives you and if you do the Greek style method for the espresso substitute, it even adds more antioxidant, cardioprotective, polyphenol benefits as well on the side, with less acidity to deal with in general. And if you infuse tonic herbs while cooking it, like I do with mine, that's a tonic herbalism, longevity lifestyle designer orientation to it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. As I'm saying, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in another one soon.